Welcome to Lighting the Educational Flame, created and produced by educator and author Mark Hoberman, owner and director of Grade Success Tutoring. Mark will be joined by Susan Brender, CEO and host of The Susan Brender Show. The purpose of this program is to offer our listeners a variety of stories dealing with many interesting topics surrounding education. It is our hope that students and parents alike will benefit from the wide range of topics, including study skills, test prep, anti-bullying, sports, music, and more. We hope you enjoy our show, Lighting the Educational Flame.
Hello and welcome to the talk show, Lighting the Educational Flame, brought to you by Grade Success Education. I am Mark Hoberman and my co-host is Susan Brender. Susan,
Hi there.
Today? How are you?
I am just doing fine. And as always, I always look forward to working with you. So this is like a really exciting time for me.
Oh, absolutely. Me as well. And we have a very exciting guest today. So a lot of the people we've spoken to who are in entertainment business and whatnot, a lot of people don't realize the work they put in, the years, the dedication. And our guest today is definitely going to tell us a lot about that and some of the extra things that she does as well.
You know, Mark, I'll tell you something. When I was a young kid, I used to go to something called the Herbert Berghof Studios in New York, which was a very, very popular place for some of the major, and I say major, artists. And I wanted so much to be a star, but
you are a star. Okay.
Well, thank you, but I couldn't really accomplish it, and the reason is that it is so competitive and so difficult. And so I thought about it, and I said, as much as I love this, I can't do it. And you're absolutely right. I mean, life as a star is very exciting, but very tough.
Oh yeah, not easy. You need the backing of a lot of people, and you know, it's just a ton of work. It's a tremendous commitment. A lot of people just see the star, you know, power, and they see them on shows and all the glamour. And not that it's not that for many people, but it's very, very involved. So I'm going to bring on our special guest for today, and we will ask her some very important questions, and I'm sure we're going to get some great answers.
I agree with you. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. Here she comes. Our guest today is highly successful actress, very busy actress, among other things, Barbara Niven. Barbara, welcome to Lighting the Educational Flame. How are you?
I am excited to be here. I love what you're doing. You are inspiring and paying it forward.
Oh,
so that's what we all need to do.
We appreciate that. You know, we talk a lot about, for our viewers, about following your passion, and we know you have many passions, but what made you decide to follow your passion and become an actress?
Well, this is a story, and if I can make this crazy acting dream happen, seriously, anybody can do anything. You just have to do it. So I knew I wanted to be an actor when I was 5 years old, because I remember the first time I was on stage, I was in kindergarten, and I remember exactly what I was wearing. It was a Christmas program. All my parents and everybody was out in the audience. I was holding a teddy bear in footy pajamas, because that was our costume, singing, "Me and my teddy bear had no worries, had no cares." And I remember, I do that now, and I still get goosebumps because I remember that feeling. And acting still gives me goosebumps. You know, when I'm performing and it's all going, and it's like everything comes alive. And that's what I want to encourage everybody to do, because to take away, as we get older, we take away all the possibilities that our editor comes in and starts sitting on our shoulder and saying, "Oh, you can't possibly do that.
A lot of doubt. A lot of haters.
Don't even dream that big." Yeah. You know, so I put that away. I never went after it until for years and years, I kept living everybody else's dream of me, but my own. And one day I had a wake-up call, and that day for me, and it can be for anybody, can have their own wake-up call, and maybe today will be a wake-up call for somebody. But my wake-up call came just as my 10-year high school reunion was happening, because I had gotten married, had a baby, did all those things, you know, was okay. You know, I liked my life, but I still, in my head, I knew someday I'm going to be an actress. Well, so I got that application in the mail in those days. And on the application, as you're, you know, it's like a timeline, like, who did you marry? How many kids do you have? Where do you live? What are you doing? And at the bottom of that, the very last question was, have you achieved all you thought you would in your life by now?
Wow.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks, because, oh my gosh, I hadn't even started doing my acting dream yet. I kind of was floating by, and 10 years went by like that.
Oh yeah, put it on the back burner.
Oh yeah, I put it on the back burner to try and make everybody else happy. And I didn't even acknowledge it because it sounded like such a crazy thing that I could be an actress. I lived in Portland, Oregon. I didn't have anybody role models for that. And I was a mom, you know, I had a 2-year-old baby at that time. And so I thought that was the day that I did put it into action. I thought, oh my gosh, I have got to kick my dream into action. And I did. I went down to a bookstore. It's called Powell's Bookstores in Portland, Oregon. And it was the best old bookstore ever, a whole block worth. And I would go in there, my baby in her stroller, and I would sit on the floor and read acting books, because it was all used books. And I would just start imagining what I had to do, and imagining myself in that, and reading monologues, etc. And then what I did, and what I encourage people to do is to, okay, what would you pay somebody else to let you do? Yeah, I mean, seriously, you don't tell Hallmark or anybody who hires me, but I would pay them to let me do this.
Sure.
My boyfriend says they pay you to wait, but you would pay them to act.
Right.
So, and we all have something. So tonight, wherever you are right now, whoever is listening, just start getting that editor off your shoulder and just think, what do I love to do? When I was 5 years old, what did I want to grow up to be? Because you don't have to make a living at it, but if you do a little bit towards it every day, you are going to love your life. It's like you are on your path. And I also think that your passion leads you right into your purpose. We are given dreams and passions and talents and gifts so that we can align with our purpose, the reason that we are here on earth. And I think if you follow your passion, it leads you right into your purpose. And that's how you can make a difference.
You know, Barbara,
yeah.
Excuse me for interrupting you. You know,
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Now, here's the thing. You just mentioned something called passion, and Mark and I have definitely a passion for what we do. But what I want to ask you is, do you think that acting transforms you in ways you can't even describe?
It does, but I think every dream does if you're aligned with your purpose. But of course, acting does for me, because it lets me try on being somebody else all the time. And I learn through characters, I learn much more about me, because I can try it on with no social ramifications. Like, I play good girls, but the most important and most fun ones for me are playing the bad girls, because that's not stuff I would really let myself do in real life. But I love to do research on my characters. I love to create them from the inside out with their how they walk, how they talk, what they wear, and I also do things like pick out words and scripts. I love research. I think it just leads you to so many more colors, and I pick out words and scripts and look at what they mean. Like, I have a media training business called Unleash Your Star Power. And unleash is to let go your force, to like let it all out there into the universe. And star is shining light, and power is your force. So unleash your star power. So whoever's watching, again, start thinking about, if you start seeing words, or words, you start hearing phrases, they're there for a reason. All these things that happen to us are not random, but they lead us to more development of who we are. And every character that I play, they always teach me something, and I always keep a little bit with me. Like, I was so fortunate years ago to be able to play Marilyn Monroe, and and part of her is always going to be with me. So acting is different in that way. And I find a lot of, I find a lot of growth, that I grow as a person with acting. But it could be with anything. If you have if you want to do your art, or if you love cars, if you want to work on cars, or you want to be a teacher, you make a difference that way. You will have all your own goosebump moments over and over again. And that's when you know you're aligned with your purpose and you are making a difference.
Mark, I want to ask you something. Barbara is discussing passion, and she's discussing how it can make a difference if you do something that you love.
Right.
Now, I know that you did something that you love, which was teaching.
Right.
And I'd love to hear you tell Barbara why it was such a magnificent thing that you did, that you really still continue to do even after you're retired.
Well, it's interesting because I understand that passion, but I'm not keeping this a secret from Hallmark or from the education system. But I said when I was a young teacher in the Bronx, tough area, after my first year, and it was very tiring,
Sure.
but I said, they're paying me to do this. I joke with the kids. Then at lunchtime, I play basketball with them. What are they, stupid? I said, they're paying, and they're going to give me a pension. I mean, look, it was 33 years. But my parents were old school. I'm a little old school in some way. And my father always said, you know, if not in these words that we hear it so famously said, but if you have a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
You'll never work a day in your life. I know.
So that was that was my passion. And there's challenges in education, and I'm sure it leads me actually to my next question for you, Barbara, is, you know, we see some of the bright lights, and there are challenging aspects in the entertainment business, not just
Sure.
acting, but any kind of entertainment business. And what are some of these challenges that the average fan is not aware of? Like, in other words, we know the glory, but we don't know the story.
Yeah, well, there's very little glory compared to the story.
Right.
But if you love your craft, whatever it is, you work on it, you love what you do. So some of the things, like when an actor is employed, we're employed. But as soon as that job ends and they yell cut for the last scene, we're unemployed again. So we don't have a lot of security as an actor or in the entertainment industry at all, because we're independent contractors, basically. So we have to wait for somebody to hire us. And unfortunately, you can't really act on your own. I mean, you can talk to yourself, and I know I do that a lot. You drive around Los Angeles and all the actors are working.
Everybody talks to themselves in Los Angeles.
Yes, they do. You go up to the red light and they're all going, you know, they're doing the script. You know,
Barbara, were you inspired by your dad?
I've always been inspired by my dad. And here's an interesting thing. As I say, you know, things keep coming back around for a reason. So I work a lot in Canada because a lot of production is done up there now. And would you believe that my father was born in British Columbia, where we shoot all of those and where most of the production offices are. So every time I go up there, I have dual citizenship because of my father. So every time I land, seriously, the sun shines, even if it's been rainy, and I just go, thanks, Dad. Hi. You know, so everything, all the dots get connected. Nothing that happens is random, you know, and I think that we just have to start being more attuned to that. And also, you can't sit around and wait for your life to happen either. So after I had this big wake-up call, I needed to take stock and find out, okay, how do I, a single mom just getting divorced in Portland, Oregon, with absolutely no experience at all, except 1 year in high school, drama, how can I make a living at this? Because I have a 2-year-old daughter now that I've got to support too, right? So I wrote a list. I'm a big proponent of writing lists. Like, what are my strengths? What do I need to work on? How can I make this work? So I knew I could write because I always loved writing, and I've always been ham with a camera. So I thought, writing, camera, I could be a news reporter. So I walked in with, I didn't even graduate college because I just got married. I did 6 months of college. One of my biggest regrets. But as an actor, I always study. So I've done my time. It doesn't have to be a college degree in my business, as long as you keep learning your craft and developing. But so I decided that I need to find a mentor. And if anybody's making notes, mentoring, finding a mentor needs to be at the top of your to-do list. Write your strengths and what you want to do, find somebody who has the job that you would love, and then just go in and show up at their door. Nowadays, you can probably email, although being there in person is a little bit better. So I blithely just walked into the NBC affiliate, which is KGW, to the news director's door and said, knock, knock, hi, and I was called Barbie then too. Hi, I'm Barbie. It's an unfortunate name for an actress, which I changed when I moved to LA, but I'm Barbie, and I want to work for you. So if I bring you scripts and news stories, will you read them? And don't tell me what's good about it, because I know I can write. I want to know how I can make it better, so you're going to hire me faster than what it would take than if I would go through the whole college thing, because I had to make money then. And so he kind of just shined me out a little bit. He said, sure. And I said, so can I have a copy of a script? So I knew what to do, and I could like look how to make sound bites and learn on my own. And then so he did. And then I would go out and I would lie. I would say, hi, I'm Barbie and I'm an associate producer at KGW, which is the NBC affiliate in Portland, Oregon. Gotcha. Thank you for helping me get started. And we may do a TV news story on you, but I need to pre-produce you first and interview you to see if you're newsworthy. Well, of course, everybody wanted to be on TV. Oh, yeah. It's great business, right? Yep. And so I would go in and I would take my big boom box recorder in those days. Remember the big thing? Oh, yeah, like huge. Cassette tapes? Oh, yeah. And I would take it in, sit it on the table, and I would do an interview. And I really was good at this because I know I can talk to people, I know I can write, and I know I can get it out. And so I would race home after that interview, type it all up, imagine what shots, what video I would want if I actually had a cameraman there with me. Sure. And I would write it all up. And the next day I would show up at the guy's door at 10 a.m. and say, hi, I'm back. Here it is. What do you think? And then he would give me notes, and I would go back and do it again and again and again. And I also, at the beginning of this, I said, if you do mentor me, I promise that I will pay it forward later to someone else when I reach my own success. And that's what happened. And he ended up putting me on as an intern. So I was a news intern there, and which they'd never done before without having, being part of a college class. And I ended up getting, as a news intern, you get to do one story in front of the camera, like on air. So, hi, I'm Barbie Buchholz. So when I got my turn that I would do that, I knew I had to find a bent. Because I declared that I'm going to sell my story to network, NBC News, and everybody said, "Oh, come on, that'll never happen. You've never been on the air before." Well, I figured it out. You can do anything if you have the right hook or if you have the right attitude. Yep. I figured out I'm going to make a national news story, a fun one about the White House Easter egg roll. And so I did, and I did have a cameraman there, and we went back and edited it, and it was so fun, and he was so clever with it, and it ran on NBC News nationwide. Oh wow, that's fantastic. So what year was that? What year was that? Oh my gosh, that was early 80s. Oh wow, okay. Early 80s. So I learned how to edit on a 3/4 bay in a news station then, So and anyway, I just to finish this story, as I did it, I discovered that news is not where I want to be, because it's a little disheartening for me anyway to do, to get all of the sound bites, get a whole story and put it into a minute, 20 seconds of flat facts. Right. And I like to entertain. I like to put more emotion in things instead of going, hi, I'm Barbara Niven and this is da-da-da, So that's when I discovered acting. And when you're an actor, you have to do monologues, you have to start doing scenes with people. Yeah. And I got my big break. I created it again. Nobody gave me anything. And this is all the stuff that people don't know. You think you show up and somebody's going to hire you, get discovered. Right. Yeah. No, it's not how it works. And it doesn't work for any industry. You put in the work, so when you get the opportunity, you're ready.
Yeah.
So they announced right around this time that that ABC was going to recast the role of One Life to Live, which is a soap opera and that was shot in New York, and they were doing a nationwide search. And Bobby Hoffman, who was the casting director then under Mary Lynn Henry, came and was going to do a casting session in Seattle. Well, Seattle is about 3.5 hours from Portland, Oregon, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn a monologue and I'm going to do it. Well, I didn't tell anybody. But I had arranged my mom to babysit for the day, right? So I was going to drop Jessica off in the morning, go up there 3.5 hours, go out, do my monologue, get put on tape, come back, drive back. Nobody would know the difference if I didn't get it, right? Well, it turns out that morning, do you know what a black ice storm is?
Yes, you don't drive in it.
Yes.
Terrible.
No, but I did, because
Right.
I had to get there. There wasn't even the airport was even closed. So I dropped my daughter Jessica off in the morning, had my costume, my clothes that I wanted to wear for the interview, and my makeup in my bag. And I drove. I was the only car on that freeway driving through a black ice storm to get to Seattle. I got up there. I went into the bathroom, did my makeup, changed my clothes, and stood and met Bobby Hoffman. And I had memorized my one and only monologue. It was from chapter 2, but I could really relate to it. I just knew this woman, which is how I love acting parts so much. And I did it. And I did it the first time it ever came out of my mouth in front of anybody. And he put me on tape. And then I said, thank you. And I drove home. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And I drove all the way back home. Nobody knew. Well, you know what? I was one of 5 people that ABC in New York brought back for a screen test out of that. But I didn't know my craft then. I wasn't ready. And Mary Lynn Henry told me, well, and also because I was always trying to be nice, and my name was Barbie, this is how I talked all the time. So this is how I came across. And this is how I did my monologue.
That's too nice for soap opera ladies.
Yeah, yes. And so Mary Lynn did me a huge favor. I did not get that job because I wasn't prepared. I did not know my craft, but she did me the biggest favor because she said, honey, I don't see any star power there. And also with that voice, all you're ever going to do is play a victim. Well, that could have even either shut me down or fuel me up. Yep. And I made it fuel me up. So I knew that I could do it, right? Because I did a screen test in New York. Like, who does that? And so I thought, okay, I'm on the right track. So I hired an old news guy in Portland, Oregon, to give me lessons on doing my voice, which is something now I teach in my Unleash Your Star Power system, because everybody needs to be able to have the kind of voice that needs to reflect the power that they need in the moment. Like actors, we need to be different characters. So right now, this is pretty much me, who I am. If I'm playing a sweet mom or somebody more innocent, maybe I'll do it like this. If I'm playing a bitch, or I put my voice down here, or if I'm speaking on stage and have to reach the far corners of the room, or if I'm speaking in front of a CEO group, I need to have more power. So we all need to do that. And one of the tricks that my coach taught me is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So you get it, so you can have your power come from your diaphragm. And when you're talking from this sweet spot down here, it totally changes who you are and how you feel about yourself, and also how you are perceived. So if you're a speaker, a motivational speaker, which I know you do, if the microphone goes out, you need to still speak and reach every single person in the back row of that room or in that auditorium.
Barbara,
so those are just kind of those tricks. Yes.
Let me ask you something. You remember this show is geared to parents and to teens. And
yes.
There's a lot of things that they need to know, because needless to say, few of them have decided that they want to become actors. But on
sure.
the other hand, maybe they're doing that because they're afraid they won't get paid. And
right.
This is what's happening. Now, we live during a time right now where it's a pandemic going on. So the question
yes.
becomes, at this particular time, do you feel as an actor, do you feel positive that soon enough you're going to get back on track?
Or do you feel that life is really difficult and it's not going to change for a long time?
I don't know if it's going to change for a long time. I don't know if it's going to get back to normal, but now is absolutely the time to put the work in, to find out, to do all your research, your background, so you are ready when it happens. And now, like we're doing right now, so much is about doing things on Zoom, which I think is going to be, I think the way that we're learning to work now from home more, or do school maybe from home.
Future.
Yes, it is going to be more of the future. And so if you, I want to pass on a tip here. So your image is everything. It's how you perceive yourself, and it's also how you are perceived. So anybody who's doing a Zoom interview, whether it's for an interview for work, or if you were doing one on work, or if you're doing maybe a presentation online, or you're doing school, you know, I want you to notice, do you see my background that I've designed for me?
Yeah.
Its image is everything. I have lighting set up here and I maybe I could come back and do a little tutorial for anybody on that.
Absolutely.
But you want to make sure, if you have a messy background, how does that reflect on you? Right. Especially if you're doing a work, I'm shocked at the people who are powerful people, like CEOs, are doing from home now, and their background looks like that's not who they are or who they want to reflect. That a lot of times, if you're shooting with a light coming from the background instead of a full frontal light, and all you need to do is face a window or put the new ring lights in front of you on your desk, like I have here right now. Your image is everything, and your image can make the difference between how you are perceived, whether or not you're even going to get a job. Yep. So now my job, our industry now is gone to almost all remote casting. So we put ourselves on tape for auditions now, which is so much easier because we don't have to drive all over Los Angeles anymore, or we can be up for anything. And everybody now can do that. And one of the reasons I started my Unleash Your Star Power media training stuff is that everybody nowadays needs to be using video on their website, because video, and just like what we're doing here, it can be YouTube videos, it can be teaching tips, it can be a welcome video on your website, but video will magnify, and your sales will magnify your yeses that you get back more than any other tool, because everybody nowadays can have a website, or anybody nowadays can, do pretty much anything. It's leveled out the playing field.
Definitely.
But
social media,
your perception and your image really is everything. So take a look and redo what you have to do. If you're online now, I know you've got that background that looks great, and it's your professional background. But this says everything I want to do. I've got the Hollywood sign. I got a heart up there, and I've got my crystals back here. So this is me. Right. This is who I am. Another thing I'd love to have, I wanted to make sure that I passed on. Another one of the tips that really has worked for me is a vision board. So I did crazy things, and I've changed them over the years too, to where I just looked up magazines and cut out words. Words are so powerful. Images are so powerful. And I just decided what I wanted to incorporate into my life, what I wanted to see in my life, what words and emotions and pictures made me feel good and about what I wanted. So I've always kept vision boards. And when I go back through and look at some of the first ones that I did, oh my gosh, I've exceeded those things. And I remember one time I really needed a new car. Mine was so bad. And so I put a picture, when it was a black Ford Explorer Sport, like in the 90s, right? And I just couldn't. I had a really old car, and I was taking care of Jessica because I raised her as a single mother actress. So we were so poor sometimes, but I really needed a car. And I coveted this black Ford Explorer Sport with white seats inside. I mean, it was beautiful. And so I put it up on my computer, And I looked at that thing every day. Even when I wasn't looking at it, it was looking at me. And would you believe that within a few months, I got a big job, and I was so busy. I had so many jobs lined up that thing got delivered to me at my house because I didn't have time to go drive it off the lot myself. Brand new Ford Explorer Sport.
You're really talking about goal setting, which teens and even their parents really have to realize. You know, a little earlier, Susan mentioned the pandemic. So as if the many television shows and the Hallmark movies weren't enough, I know you're also an author. And I would argue that with COVID-19, now more than ever, knowing how to speak effectively on video, as you just said, has never been more important, even for students, teachers, business people, and the like. And actually, talking about being an author, I just ordered your book, 111 Star Power Tips. So I want to know if I can get a quick, brief preview from the author herself.
Of 111 Star Power Tips on video, about video.
Well, I ordered the book.
You ordered the book. There's what I tried to do with this, Mark, is I put in everything that I have learned over my 35-year career. All those little tips that work not only from us as actors, but that anybody can incorporate quickly so they can take advantage of what I've learned about lighting, about well, here's one good thing. You know how when you're doing a video, you want to upload to YouTube, you know, you don't get it right the first time. So you keep doing it and doing it over. Well, every time you get a take that's possible, you know, that you want to look at, just put your finger right in front of the lens the next time and take a photo of it quick, or take a quick video of it. That way, you know how each of the thumbnails in all those videos, they all look alike, and you're going to have to go through all of them. Now, all you have to do, I call it doing a finger take. All you need to look at are the finger takes. That's going to save you. That's like $1 million tip. That's for me anyway. So I always say, don't worry how many times it takes you to get the right video. Just keep doing it over and over, because all you need is one. Nobody needs to know how many you had to delete. Correct.
You do so much, Barbara. Where can people go to find out even more about you? You mentioned many things: the author, the acting, the media.
Oh, thanks. And also I do animal rescue. I want people to really, it's not so much, it's about living as part of the world. You know, we're all connected. So, and I would love to see people either at my website, which is barbaraniven.com. That's BARBARANIVEN.com, or on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Barbara Niven. But I just want people to know that right now is the time to get in and study. Decide what possibilities that excite you, especially students right now. Like my grandson River he has been saying that he wants to start creating his own video games. So you know what I gave him for Christmas? I went to udemy.com, UDEMY.com.
I gave him a course.
Yeah. And I got him 3 courses on coding for kids, I don't even know what they're called, but he got 3 courses on that. And then I also got Solstice, who's 5, and River's 9. And I got them on kidstable.com. Kids, I think it's / or kids-table.com. I got them baking classes. So they're doing that. Look what they just sent me over today. Ooh, they made muffins.
I like those finger cookies.
I know. Yeah, they're called Thumbprint. Yes. So there's all kinds of things. And I know it's hard because we are not connecting the way that we are used to. And it's so hard, especially when you don't see your loved ones or your friends. I can't even imagine. I know my grandkids are getting home, you know, online school right now too.
Very tough.
And it's so hard. So we just need to get through this time, but not just marking time and being worse than what we were at the beginning of this. This is the time to develop every tool you have in your toolkit. I've been riding, I got my bike out after 20 years. We rode 16.5 miles on Sunday, and we do at least 10 miles almost every day. So I want my body to be better. I want my mindset to be better. I want my skills to be better, because it's not going to always be like this. No. And I want to be the one, and I want you guys to be the ones who, as soon as it's ready, you are ready and you are raring to go. So learn all these things right now so you can flourish as soon as we get the go ahead again.
Barbara, you're
Excellent
an
advice.
inspiration. Mark, isn't she an inspiration?
Absolutely.
You guys are too.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Just all the
you.
advice that you gave. Barbara, Susan, I just can't thank you enough for joining us today and sharing your vast
Can I
experience.
say one more thing?
Please say two more things.
The last thing I want to say is no matter what, just live your passion, connect to your purpose, and make a difference. And most of all, don't give up 5 minutes before your miracle, because you can make it happen.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Fabulous
you.
advice for our viewers. And to the viewers, remember to reach out to us on social media. Look for Great Success on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. You can find me, Mark Hoberman, on LinkedIn. Again, thanks so much, really, sincere thanks to Barbara Niven for being with us today.
Thank
Susan,
you for
as
what
always.
you do.
Yes, Susan, thank you. And the
Yes.
viewers, don't forget to tune into our next show. This is Mark Hoberman. Thanking you for watching Lighting the Educational Flame on the Great Success Education channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to Lighting the Educational Flame with Mark Hoberman. To contact Mark, email him at info@gradesuccess.com.